So it's from a little earlier in the fall, but this is still a cold weather tale. This is written by Ruth Moore, and it is called "The Night Charlie Tended Weir." Now, this is done in the New England vernacular, which is pretty close to a lot of the England lower class dialect. I think if you put a Yorkshire dairyman and a Maine lobsterman together, it would only take about 5 minutes for them to know what each other were saying and 2 beers. So, "The Night Charlie Tended Weir." Now, a fishing weir is a fish trap. You build it in at low. You build it out of sticks, and the fish swim in at high tide, and then the tide goes out, and the fish are trapped in there. You just go out and scoop them up with a net. So that's all you need to know. Charlie had a fishing weir down to Bailey's Bight. He got up to tend it once in the middle of the night. It was late October, black as tar. Nothing out beside but one big cold star. House like a cemetery, kitchen fire dead. "I'm a mind," says Charlie, "to go on back to bed. A man who tends a herring weir, even on the sides, nothing but a slave of the goddamn tide. A man feels meager. Why, a man feels old there in the midnight, all dark and cold, and chills in his stomach like 40,000 mice, and the very buttons on his pants like little lumps of ice. There's times he gets to thinking there just ain't no use." So Charlie had a pitcher full of his apple juice. Well, then he felt a mite better than he had before, so he had another pitcher full just to help him to the shore. There on the shore path, underneath a tree, Charlie seen something he never thought he'd see. There in the lantern lights he went to pass, there was 3 great diamonds sparkling in the grass. "Well," says Charlie, "diamonds? Now, where'd they come from? I'll pick those up by and by. I always wanted some." Well, then he put in his dory. Gosh, he felt light as air. And in the dark midnight, he rode off to tend the weir. Well, out by the weir gate, Charlie sees an old sea serpent swimming round and round. Head like a wash tub, whiskers like thatch, breath like the flame off a coal fire's hatch. There in the moonlight, and up he arose with a great big barnacle on the end of his nose, and he looks Charlie over kind of surly and cross and says, "Them fish you got in there belongs to my boss." "Fish?" says Charlie. "Fish in there? I ain't caught a fish since I built the damn weir." "Yeah, well," says the sea serpent, "nevertheless, there's 10,000 bushel at a rough guess." Well, Charlie lifted up his lantern and he gave his oar a pull, and he seen that the weir, it was brim bully full. There were fish rising up inside, trillion at a time, and the side of each and every one looked like a silver dime. "Well," says the sea serpent, "what you gonna do? They're mighty uncomfortable in there, and they don't belong to you, so open this contraption up now. Let 'em go. Come on, shake the lead out. The boss says so." "Well," says Charlie, "now who the hell is he thinks he can sit back and send word to me?" Well, that sea serpent, he spun round, he made a water spout, and says, "You keep at it, brother. You'll find out." "Oh, you're nothing but a lie, so hold your hoary. Hey, and get your dirty whiskers off the gunnels of my dory." Well, that old sea serpent, he spun round and he slunk underneath, and he skun back a set of sharp yellow teeth, and he come at Charlie with a gurgling roar, and Charlie let him have it with the port side oar, right on the noggin. Hell of a knock. And that old sea serpent, he sunk like a rock. "Yeah, and you go on back and you tell the old jerk not to send a boy up to do a man's work." Well, all of a sudden, sort of tinkly and clear, Charlie hears a little voice say, "Yoo-hoo, Charlie dear." "Now what now?" says Charlie. "'Cause this ain't funny." And that same sweet voice, it says, "Yoo-hoo, Charlie honey." Well, Charlie looks, and there on a seine pole, right inside the weir, was a little green mermaid combing out her hair. "Yeah, I seen you," says Charlie. "And I know where you come from, so you can get too." And he let fly with his bailing scoop, landed with a thunk. And when the water settled, well, the mermaid, she had sunk. And then the ocean moved behind him, With a mighty heave and a hiss and a thundery, rumbly voice remarked, "I'm getting sick of this." Well, Charlie turns and he sees an old man coming. He was white from top to toe, whiter than a daisy field, whiter than the snow. He's carrying a hay fork with 3 tines on it and muttering in his whiskers and madder than a hornet. "My sea serpent's so lame you can hardly stir. My best mermaid, you've done raised a lump on her, and you've been mighty sassy, calling me a jerk. So the old man has come to do a man's work." "Well, now look," says Charlie. "Why can't you leave me be? You might be the hoary old man of the sea, but I got a mess of fish caught up here inside. You keep on frigging round like this, you'll make me lose the tide." Well, the next thing Charlie knew it, he was lying on the sand. Painter of his dory lying right beside his hand, and the bay was there before him, all calm and flat and wide, and it was broad daylight, and it was high tide. "Well," says Charlie, "now, what am I about? Well, his oars weren't wet. He couldn't have been out." "Oh, no, I remember," says Charlie. "Diamonds underneath a tree. Well, seems to me I found a few. I'd better go and see." But he didn't find any diamonds, not one gem. Just 3 little owl droppings with some frost on them. The night Charlie tended Weir,